as Israel attacks Gaza with brute military force staged in a manner and at a scale never seen before. Indian X, formerly Twitter, is abuzz with some familiar chatter and widespread solidarity for Israel. Israel has faced global condemnation for its actions in the occupied East Jerusalem and continued bombing of the Gaza Strip, but it has found support in India, where Hindutva activists have thrown their weight behind Israel, with some defending its policy against the Palestinians. Hashtags such as "I support Israel," "India with Israel," "India stands with Israel," and "Israel under fire" have trended on the social media platform X over the past week, many calling the Palestinians as terrorists, a term used by the Israel for Palestinian resistance groups. Palestine terrorist was one of the top trends on Twitter in the South Asian nation as Israel faces criticism for its bombing of the Gaza. At least 212 Palestinians, including 61 children, have been killed and more than 1,000 others wounded in 1 week of the intense Israeli airstrikes as besieged in Gaza, home to 2 million people in the occupied West Bank. Support for Israel has been amplified on the social media, particularly Twitter and Instagram, by the top members of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party BJP, lawyers and journalists. Among others, Indian journalist and writer Rana Ayub wrote that while checking most of the "India stands with Israel" hashtag tweet handles, a common thread that runs through is a visceral hatred for the Muslims and a bloodlust to see the Muslims massacred and shown their place. BJP member of the parliament Tejasvi Surya, known for his anti-Muslim rhetoric, wrote on Twitter, "We are with you, say strong Israel." India and Israel's ties have strengthened significantly in the recent decades, especially under the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu. In July 2017, Modi, who counts Netanyahu among his friends, became the first ever Indian Prime Minister to visit Israel. India's policy towards Israel shifted in 1991. It had to do with the eagerness to be a subordinate ally of the US. India has somehow got into the matrix of the Israel and the United States. The Hindutva project's starry-eyed love for the Israel remains devoid of a real geopolitical premises and continue to operate on a brittle ideological fellowships. There is a section of a polarized Hindutva Hindu rights groups who support Israel's actions against the Palestinians purely because Muslims are being persecuted. There is a lot of criticism from many government supporters, with a Twitter user calling it shameful diplomacy, spineless act by the Indian government. National Council of the Canadian Muslims and the World Sikh Organization of Canada have cautioned the Canadian government of the pervasive presence of the extremist Hindutva outfits, and it has been on a leash against the Muslims, Christians and other minorities. Canada shouldn't allow a movement originating from India that disseminates hate and victimizes the religious minority groups to entrench itself in this country. RSS poses a major challenge to the Canadian commitments to the human rights, tolerance and multiculturalism. RSS network has not only roots in Canada but is also extending its global outreach while propagating far right in the various ways. A recent report has confirmed that RSS elements spreading hatred Muslims in the UK under the garb of Hindutva Swayamsevak Sangh HSS organization. Hindutva movement by the RSS and its large network of the affiliates Sangh Parivar is trying to present its agenda as agenda of all the global Hindus. Electoral success of the BJP and its deep ties with the RSS help to smuggle Hindutva's discriminatory vision to the world's diverse religions, from margins to the mainstreams, with devastating results. Extremist outfits' presence will perpetuate supremacist ideologies and would antagonize the relations between large faith-based communities in the Canada.